Okay, they're set, ready to go here, and they're off and racing, and one of the best to break the line was Lord of the Kings, and it'll lead now from the favourite Nips, and then Cosmetic Crown, the Roughy Moaska moving forward swiftly with Al Megdam, and then Chrysler Mirage, followed by Peak Gem at a gap to Ackroyd. Navy Beat still wide from the alley, and the last pair in the eastern Ceto Star as they swing into the back of the course, and Lord of the Kings shows the way, a length on Moaska. Third posse is Nips on the inside of Chrysler Mirage. 2.5 lengths to Al Megdam as they pass the 1400, shaded by Cosmetic Crown on the rail. Then Peak Gem, followed by Ackroyd, a length to win the east. Second last is Navy Beat, still galloping deep. And Ceto Star is absolute as they work inside the 1200 marker. And the local galloper, Lord of the Kings, in front by a length and 3/4 on Moaska. The favourite Nips third on the fence, 2 to Chrysler Mirage. Then the Port Macquarie mare, that's Cosmetic Crown. At her quarters on the outside, Al Megdam, and 2.5 to Peak Gem. A similar margin to Ackroyd. Another 2 to Navy Beat. In the east on the inside, niggled at even this far from home. And Ceto Star brings up the rear. Past the 800 they travel. There's no change in the pattern at all. Lord of the Kings the leader from Moaska. Nips on the inside. Close enough, if good enough, you would imagine. And then Chrysler Mirage, Cosmetic Crown shading it. And then Al Megdam, 2.5 then to Ackroyd. Hard ridden, followed by Peak Gem on its inner. Another 2 or 3 lengths then to Navy Beat. 4 Ceto Star in company within the east as they round the corner, and Lord of the Kings straightens up. A couple of lengths on Nips. It's been given every possible chance. On its outside, Al Megdam, and then Cosmetic Crown, followed by Ackroyd, still battling on from Peak Gem. They come down to the 200, and Al Megdam raced to the lead. Nips has surrendered quickly, and this looks like the day for Al Megdam. It's raced about 4 lengths clear. Peak Gem into second posse from Chrysler Mirage, Cosmetic Crown, but Al Megdam bolts it in. Al Megdam from Chrysler Mirage. Navy Beat got home along the rail from Peak Gem. Cosmetic Crown in the east, followed by Lord of the Kings. Nips was an absolute flop with a capital F. And then came Ackroyd, Ceto Star, and absolute was Moaska. Al Megdam has absolutely annihilated them here. Number 3, Al Megdam for Sheikh Mohammed bin Khalifa Al Maktoum. Gay Waterhouse the trainer. And the 4-year-old chestnut gelding is by Spinning World from the Broadreach mare, Anush, and little Lenny Beasley in the saddle. Number 3, Al Megdam has annihilated them. Chrysler Mirage has run second on his favourite track by Chrysler from Imposing Bell, Graham Rogerson, Jay Ford. And number 9, Navy Beat third. He was very wide early from the deep gate. He only plugged through along the rails by Song of Tara from Anchors Away. John Hawkes, Larry Cassidy.
Right, Gay, I'd be watching that one from Melbourne at Flemington. Would be very excited. 3, 1, 9 and 10. The New South Wales first 4, $1,255.70. The extra double 7 and 3, pace $40 even. And the special div $5.70. So 3, 1, 9 and 10 on race 5 from Rosehill. Super Tab Exotics we're on the lookout for. There's the Quinella 23.10 and the Trifecta 146.10 on race 5. Derby, Kempinski's the top rater for Amy. Elvstrom, Face Value and Penitentiary 2, 3, 1 and 4. Through the market there, we've got equal favourites now. Elvstrom and Noble Red, both at $4 ahead of Kempinski, and then a couple at 7 with big chances to Face Value and certainly Penitentiary. And the rest are pretty rough, really, for the Victoria Derby. Let's have a look at them. We'll start with Face Value. Alf's joining me, trained by Bevan Laming, ultra consistent in the minor placings in some of those big races, Alf.
A good, tough performer, this horse, and I tell you what, I reckon he looks better today than what I've seen him in the past.
Well, Bevan Laming's got him spot on for Derby Day. Here's Kempinski, number 2, trained by Mick Price. Amy Vars winner last week.
A classically bred horse and a classic looker. Looks well.
Elvstrom from the Tony Vassal camp. He led them up last week. Ford on very gamely too.
Drawn nicely. He'll get all the favours during the run. Just depends whether he runs out the 2500, but there's no reason to suggest that he won't, but he's really trained on nicely as well.
Penitentiary, number 4, trained by Richard Otto, a Kiwi. He won the Derby trial at Geelong last start.
Yeah, distance is a plus for this horse because he is very dour and a very lean-looking horse that will be suited.
Noble Red, trained by Lee Friedman and very well fancied, this 3-year-old.
Yeah, he's a lovely looking horse, you know, and I tell you what, a lot of people are forgetting the fact that he actually should have beaten Kempinski. I know it was only Mornington, but it was a Metro run day. He looks so relaxed, so calm, and he looks spot on.
Canny Opera number 6, trained by Andrew Noblet, ran 6th in the Amy Vars last week.
I was bitterly disappointed in its performance then, and it'd surprise me if it can turn it around. He does look well, but that's all he's got in his favour as far as I'm concerned.
Our Spurs number 7, trained by David Rakabolas. He ran 3rd in the Derby trial behind Penitentiary.
Yeah, and look, was only beaten 2.2 lengths on that occasion. He's trained on nicely. One thing about it, he'll keep rolling along, may be able to finish in the first 5.
Extolling Virtue is the Perth horse, the winner at Belmont, 2 starts back over a mile.
Hardest thing for these horses when they come from Perth is when they in fact run into affected ground. Like his form on fast ground is fantastic. On a dead track, on good ground the other day, he still tailed out. It was very disappointing. He's got to improve a lot. I don't know what he's got going for him, but he looks okay.
Captain Zigzag, the Queenslander, trained by Sean Dwyer, didn't do much in the Derby trial.
No, it wasn't a guide there, but then again, he's probably never raced on a track like Geelong. He looks okay.
Dambellis, number 10, trained by David Rakabolas. He's still a maiden, but maidens have won the Derby before.
Yeah, he's been too disappointing for me.
His stablemate is Al Behair, number 11. Didn't run a bad race at Geelong. He was hitting the line pretty well.
No, and at Moonee Valley, its 2 previous runs before that, when it filled the placings, were respectable performances. It's one horse that will run the journey right out. Probably the best roughie in the race.
Dunkirk is trained by Jim Mason at Bendigo. A couple of placings at Bendigo and Kilmore lately in maidens have been his best efforts.
Every conceivable chance at Geelong. I would have thought he would need to improve, and I can't see how. He does look okay.
Golden Breed, trained by Michael Moroney, led all the way to win a maiden at Werribee 2 starts back. Today's tougher.
Much, much tougher.
And can Bart Cummings work his magic on Danazri, number 14?
It certainly need to. Look, it's a lovely bred horse, but, it's got Shirley Heights on the female side. That'll help it run the trip right out. But, look, he's a nice type of horse, but I doubt it.
All right, thank you, Alf. Good comments there at Flemington, and we will return for your final thoughts on the Derby in a few moments' time. Elvstroem favourite now ahead of Noble Red, and Kempinski is the 3rd pick as they parade for the $1 million Derby. Rose Hill on the 5th event, correct weight, Almegdam, Chrysler Mirage and Navy Beat 319. Now that brings us to Morphettville, where race 4, they are starting to move them in. Here's Hilton.
Get him out. Up you go, little fella. Yeah, well, I don't fancy calling a race with this thing flying around, I tell you. It's only a baby. Now they are moving in. Up. The things that happen on a racetrack, I tell you. Right, you just might hand it back for a minute and I'll do something about this little bird that's in the box.
All right, Hill, sounds like you're under attack there in the broadcast box by a squirrel or something, but he tells us it's a bird has flown into the broadcast box there at just in the nick of time too, as they're moving in for the next race. All right, there's drama at Morphettville. Now they are moving in. 9's favourite here, Sabella, at $3.10. So if you hear some tweeting during this race, you'll know why. Are we clear yet? Has he got the bird out of the broadcast box? I think he might be right. Okay, we'd better go across to Morphettville because they're ready to run.
Wait for Dimness, who's got his barrier blanket on, and Dimness comes up now. I think he might live nearby and not used to having the windows open, this bird that's in the box.